Hello again, my fellow pilots and aircraft maintenance personnel. Your host is always Haytham Aly, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Welcome to my aviation nuggets for today. Today, we will have in less than 15 minutes, like a short session, to describe the Airbus A320 CFM56-5B Thrust ReVerser System. How the thrust reverser is managed. What about the three line of defense? I think you probably hear before that in order to operate the thrust reverser on ground, three line of defense must agree. Three computer must agree. What about the inputs for the thrust reverser? Are they R3? Where are the input for the thrust reverser coming? What about the throttle control unit and much more in this session, everybody? So, in the first, I need to tell you that this session is for thrust reverser system management system. Okay. So, you need to know at the beginning that the thrust reverser system for engine 1 is hydraulically powered by the green hydraulic system. Engine driven pump of the green system. Engine driven pump of engine number 1 will power the thrust reverser system of engine number 1. What about engine number 2? Yellow hydraulic system are there. Engine driven pump 2 on engine number 2 will power hydraulically the thrust reverser system of engine number 2. Thrust reverser system, everybody, is hydraulically operated and electrically controlled by the ECU, electronic control unit. The ECU only can operate the thrust reverse or must agree to operate the thrust reverse? No, as I tell you before, we must have three line of defense agree on the operation of the thrust reverse, because we need that thrust reverser operation only happen on ground. Thrust reverser operation need to happen or only can happen on ground. Okay, everybody. So, for the thrust reverser system of the CFM56-5B engine, we have 4 pivoting blocker doors on the engine C duct. 2 pivoting blocker door on each C duct. 2 pivoting blocker doors on each C duct. And each pivoting blocker door can operate with one hydraulic actuator. In this actuator, we do have stow side chamber and the deploy side chamber. Okay, everybody. I need to tell you that in order to deploy the thrust reverser, hydraulic must reach the stow chamber and the deploy chamber at the same time. And due to difference in surface area, the deploy chamber will win and the thrust reverser will deploy. If you ask yourself, why in the deploy we need the hydraulic to go to both chamber? This is a fail-safe design, because in order to have the hydraulic from the hydraulic control unit reaching the actuator, in any occasion we need the stow side to be or to have privilege, to have a fail-safe design of the thrust reverser to close if in any time the hydraulic inadvertently reaches the actuator. Okay, everybody. So, as you can see here, the thrust reverser system is controlled independently for each engine by the associated full authority digital engine control FADEC system. So, the primary line of defense or the main computer for the operation of the thrust reverser is the electronic control unit, heart of the FADEC. Yes, this is the primary line of defense, yet it is the third action to happen. Okay, so if we need to speak about the thrust reverser management operation, okay, so thrust reverser operation must come manually from the thrust reverser latching lever on the throttle control levers. Pilot need to deploy the thrust reverser latching lever in order to have the throttle control lever moving in the aft segment, and when they release the thrust reverser latching lever, they lock the throttle control lever on the idle position, and only in that case the throttle control lever can move from the idle position to reverse idle, then to maximum reverse, So mechanical input from here are converting into the throttle control unit. Inside the throttle control unit, we do have 3 input: switch, potentiometer, switch, resolver, and potentiometer. 3 inputs inside the throttle control unit. These 3 components must receive a throttle lever angle in the aft segment with -. So idle is on the 0 position and reverse idle on the -6° throttle lever angle. So the operation of the thrust reverser will happen from 0 to -6. Actually, we have 3 angles: -3, -3.8, and the -4.3. So that at -6 we have thrust reverser fully deployed, and the pilot will check that on the N1 dial by a reverse in green indication. No indication, then reverse in amber, then reverse in green will come on the N1 dial. Okay, so what about the 3 computers for controlling and the management of the thrust reverser? Is the electronic control unit, primary line of defense, engine interface unit, secondary line of defense, and spoiler elevator computer, third line of defense. These 3 computers must agree simultaneously to operate the thrust reverser only on ground. These 3 computers, ECU, EIU, and SIC, must agree simultaneously in order to operate the thrust reverser only on ground. And the story begins with the third line of defense computer, and the first action to happen, the spoiler elevator computer. It must be an independent line of defense, so that Airbus choose the spoiler elevator computer as a flight control computer or an airframe system computer other than engine computer. And this is the advantage, and this is the privilege of the third line of defense. Must be an independent computer, not an engine computer. So Airbus choose engine computer ECU, engine computer EIU, and a third computer which is not related to the engine, which is the spoiler elevator computer. So the story will begin with the SIC. The SIC must receive from the potentiometer when the throttle lever angle is at less than -3°. So that at -3, throttle lever angle, potentiometer asks the SIC to deploy the thrust reverser. So what the SIC will do? The SIC must take care about the radio altimeter. The SIC must ensure a condition of the radio altimeter so that the altitude of the aircraft is less than 6 feet, so that the SIC can, through the static relay and the power relay, open the independent shut-off valve so that the hydraulic supply can go and reach the hydraulic control unit. Okay, this is the third line of defense. First action to happen, agree. Then who else must agree? The EIU. So that the EIU will receive from a dedicated switch inside the throttle control unit when the throttle lever angle is less than -3.8. So that the EIU must check first that the aircraft on ground from the LGCIU, and now the EIU will close the inhibition relay. So why the EIU do that? Now the ECU can energize the solenoid of the directional valve. The ECU is the computer who will energize the solenoid of the directional valve and the pressurizing valve. But the ECU can directly energize the solenoid of the pressurizing valve inside the HCU. But in order to allow the ECU to energize the solenoid of the directional valve, the inhibition relay must be closed thanks to the EIU. So this is the second line of defense management computer, and second action to happen when the throttle lever angle is less than minus 3.8. Okay, so now when the throttle lever angle at minus 4.3, the resolvers inside the throttle control unit can or will tell the ECU of a thrust reversal request. So now at this time the ECU can energize the solenoids of the pressurizing valve and the directional control valve at the same time, so that the hydraulic can go to both sides of the actuators, and thanks to the differential surface area between the deploy chamber and stow chamber, now the thrust reverser can deploy and indicated on the N1 dial by a reverse amber or fully deploy indication. Fully deploy indication. Okay, everybody. So I need to tell you that before the hydraulic reaches the actuator, the hydraulic must reach and release the door locks or door latches in series. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go back. And then only when both solenoid of the directional valve and the pressurizing valve energized, the thrust reverser deploy will happen. Thrust reverser deploy will happen. So that now we clearly identify the 3 lines of defense and the actions to happen. First action to happen SIC, second action to happen is the EIU, and third action to happen is the ECU. So indication of the thrust reverser will come on the N1 dial. No indication when the thrust reverser is fully closed thanks to the stow switches, on each door. When any stow switch is not closed, so that a reverse in amber will come on the N1 dial, so that the thrust reverser in transit, and only when the 4 pivoting blocker door are shooting at 95%, the deploy switches, will indicate a fully deploy thrust reverser with an indication of a reverse in green coming on the N1 dial. So what about the latch mechanism of each door? For each door we have 2 latching mechanism. Door latch on each door and an actuator latch on each actuator. Door latch on each door and an actuator latch on each actuator. And for indication, we have stow switches, and we have dual deploy switches. So that everybody, we have inputs, component 3 in the throttle control unit, computers 3, SIC, ECU, EIU, conditions, EIU check with LGCIU, SIC check with radio altimeter, and each ECU check the other engine computer. That the other engine is on idle. Okay, everybody, thank you for your good listening. Thank you always for your good listening. And always fly safely and maintain your aircraft very safely. Always stay tuned for an upcoming sessions like this. And in any time, you can contact me to ask for any question on the Airbus A320 and for the aviation basic knowledge. From Cairo, Egypt, your host was Haytham Aly, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Thank you always for your good listening, and goodbye.